Ruben Amorim has made it very, very clear. His intent has been made that he wants a midfield duo of Carlos Baleba and Adam Wharton. Can Man United get at least 50% of that duo in this window? We're all in for Carlos Baleba, but we're hearing talks of 100+ million, which we knew was going to be the case. Let's be real. Steve Parish at Crystal Palace ain't going to be much lighter, especially because they might lose Mark Gahey. They might lose Eze. They're trying to keep hold of their best players as well. But can we get at least one to revamp this Manchester United midfield? I'm loving the links. Links is one thing, but it shows intention. But we have to go after these players. And the rivals will do all of this. You can't do that. Look at these views from the 15th. How are you going to get these guys? You got no money. We don't care what they say. We're showing intent. And I'm saying we need to be pushing and pushing and pushing to get at least one of them. But the mere fact that the club is looking at both for the future shows me we're actually starting to have some serious targets and be invested into the targets that actually will improve us, age-wise, profile-wise, attribute-wise. Will we get one of them? Manchester United, of course. Wharton has emerged as the Baleba alternative. This, I like the sign of.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Miguel Delaney writes this in the Independent, and also it's been a rumor, shall we say, over the last few days. Separate from this idea that should Manchester United not be able to get Carlos Baleba in this transfer window, which real top tier journalists are saying, yesterday, of course, you did have Indy Kalia say that a bid was imminent, but still there is this insistence that it's going to be difficult. That Manchester United seemingly could go to Adam Wharton, which again is still a very difficult deal to do if United tried to do it. But Miguel Delaney said that United are pushing to do Baleba in this window, as Amorim wants midfielder. The next preference is Wharton, and they'd eventually like both together. Although Palace, according to Delaney, will be even more difficult to deal with on that than Brighton. Now, do you agree with his assessment on that one, Flex? That actually, yeah, okay, you can have him as an alternative, but if anything, it's more difficult. That's more difficult to do than go and getting Carlos Baleba.
Do I agree that would be harder? It's kind of 6 to 1, half a dozen, really. I mean, it will still be really difficult to get Adam Wharton, and let's be honest, Steve Parish will charge a lot, like 80s plus. Let's be honest. I think it's just a similar theme. I think we've got the evidence with Brighton of the 100+ million, and how like we keep famously saying about the open letter from Caicedo, and so there's real life evidence of not a chance. But there's a bit of evidence with Palace as well of look what happened with Elise. Was it Spurs that were in for him? Was it Arsenal? Who was it? Someone was nearly going to get him.
Chelsea. They activated the release clause and then you signed a new deal.
Release clause, mate.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Mike. I'll give you an extra 50 grand a week, for a year. Sign this, and then you can go to the big boys next year. That's what he did. Went to for the best part of 50 million, and he's been unreal ever since. So yes, and in a summer where they're trying to hang on to Mark Gahey, or not even hang on really, they either want him to sign a new deal or they have to sell. And they're trying to hang on to Eze, hanging on, probably trying to find the right amount of money that he has to go for. If we then get late into the window and you sell Adam Wharton for 80, 90 million, they're in the Conference League. They want to have a good go at that. They just come off the back of winning a couple of trophies. I don't think he sanctions that deal. And Adam Wharton certainly isn't going to do an Isak. Well, you say that. We never thought Isak would. But, I can't see him down in tools and being like, let me go to Man United. He's probably securing his contract. He's having a great time at Palace. So on that sense, it is just as difficult. I wouldn't say more, just the same. Just nigh on impossible. Very unlikely you're going to get him. And that's what these are the two most sought after players in the league.
Yeah, and also as well, I think with Palace players, because obviously there has been that situation where they were demoted from the Europa League to the Europa Conference League. I think there is this kind of feeling of, the world's against us. Let's stick in it together for a year.
Exactly.
Do this. We should have been in Europa League, and it is bullshit that they're not in the Europa League. But they're in Europa Conference League. Who knows? They might even be considered one of the favourites for Europa Conference League, given the level of standard in that competition.
No, I think they will. I think they are.
And people won't want to go to Palace, to play, and they can make it difficult. And Oliver Glasner's got very good European pedigree. He's won the Europa League with obviously Frankfurt, so they could still have a really successful season. And you could kind of say, look, stay another season. You won Palace the FA Cup last year. You're part of that winning team. You can lift a European trophy. Look how big it was for West Ham when they won the Europa Conference League in terms of what it meant to them, what it meant to the fans. So, yeah, I do think there is this kind of feeling. Yesterday, there was initially reports about Mark Gahey going to Liverpool, 35 million. Then by the end of the day, it was reporting that it's actually, if anything, more likely that he was going to see out his final year of his contract and probably go on a free next season. With that being the case, again, he might want to be like, I'm going to be the captain. I lifted the FA Cup, lift European trophy. That's a big deal for Palace. So I can see the why people would go. If anything, actually, that's more difficult than getting Baleba from Brighton, because Brighton do have a prize for Baleba. I don't even know if Palace have one for Adam Wharton just yet. So I do think he'll probably end up going next season. There were rumours and rumblings of a gentleman's agreement that he would leave next season. I don't know for what fee.
Let's be. Yeah. And then this thing today was about Wharton, actually, which, to be fair, to bring it back to that, I saw actually in that thing what Miguel Delaney wrote, he suggested a situation of 80 plus some add-ons. Now, that might not be enough to get Carlos Baleba, but 80 plus add-ons might be enough to get Wharton.
Maybe. I mean, what is quite interesting as well when it comes to all of this is just like you said before, it just feels like that. As much as we're told all the time by big book journalists like Ornstein and whatever, that it's unlikely, it doesn't go away. That's why this one is really, really curious. And also, but as well, when it comes to big journalists, they get things wrong as well. I remember when earlier just a few months ago, remember we did that live episode of the Trinity with the Mbumo one. Second bid's gone in. Man United put the second bid in. Then by the time we finished, Ben Jacobs tweeted out, "Oh yeah, by the way, slight amendment to that. A bid hasn't got in," and it was slight amendment. It's never happened or it has, mate. Exactly. That's not a slight amendment. So these journalists can get things wrong as well. So we shall see. We should also see, Flex, that we are nearly at 400 likes. We're at 383. We've got over 1,700 people watching so far this morning. So if you haven't already, click that like button and be sure to subscribe, because the Premier League season is underway tomorrow, Fleck. Starts tomorrow. Liverpool versus Bournemouth. I'm going to be live on the Football Fleck for the curtain raiser, as it will. Yes, and then we're playing on Sunday. Oh my goodness me!
Yeah, this is. Oh mate, it's all about to start again. I just really hope that Benjamin Sesko will start. We'll talk about that a little bit later, actually, because we're going to talk about the lead up into it. There's going to be a press conference tomorrow as well. How do we think that's going to go? Et cetera, et cetera. So as I always said, guys, please smash a like.